I know exactly what's going on with hemp. I got no clue what's going on with the release of the Epstein files when it comes to the president and this administration. I don't get the resistance. I really don't. And you can say, what do you mean? He's got something to hide. No one has ever told me that, who has any access to any of these things, no matter who they represent. Okay? Now, the response from the president today, instead of release the files, which is all he should say, release the Epstein files, is I've directed the Attorney General to go after Democrats who he believes are tied to the Epstein scandal. First of all, just before the show, he made his first comments about this. Listen.
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, who you know who that is, Summers, Larry Summers, whatever his name is, and all of the other people that he spent time with. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years, but he also saw strength because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Look, if the president has these suspicions, you know what he should do? Release the files. Okay? That's the only answer here. What is going on? I don't get it. Now, that's why I have better minds. And I don't know anyone to talk to who is better than my guest, Epstein's former attorney, Alan Dershowitz. He has been caught up in this scandal as counsel and as an accused for years. And he had the rare ability to disprove an allegation. You know how hard that is? To prove that you didn't do something? That's why the burden of proof works the other way, right? And he has also seen what so many are dying to see. He joins us now. Professor, I said to somebody today, and I don't know if this will make you punch me the next time you see me. I said, you know, if there were one guy who would love to give people on the left what they're looking for in this situation, it's Dershowitz, because he's been completely blackballed by them. He would love to get them back, inviting him to things on Martha's Vineyard. But Professor, look, I gave you a chance when the allegations come out because of my trust in you, and you had the documents that made not only the lawsuit against you go away, but the accusations as well from anybody who wants to pay attention to the facts. But you've been telling me from the beginning, Chris, don't get caught up in the hoopla about this stuff. It's not what people think. Why?
Well, let me give you an example. 10 minutes before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile. He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile. But because the media says so many things about people. Another example, Epstein says in his email that Trump spent hours with Virginia Giuffre. The media doesn't report that Virginia Giuffre herself, when she was alive, said she never met Trump. She never spent any time with him. So I understand, I don't agree, but I understand the Trump administration's concern, because anything in these files is deliberately misinterpreted by the media. On CNN just before, about an hour ago, some congresswoman was finding everybody guilty. Anybody who had any connection with Trump must be guilty. Look, I'm here standing up. Look, I certainly support real victims, but I'm standing up because I was one of them, for falsely accused people. They have due process too. They have to have the right to answer. One of the problems is when they release these files, and I hope they release them all, they generally release the names of the people accused, but they don't release the name of the accusers, because they say they're victims and they're survivors. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them are mixed. I know of cases where people were victims and then they victimized other people. They falsely accused them, or they arranged for them to meet with Jeffrey Epstein. This is a gray area that the media presents as a black and white area, with a devil and anybody who had anything to do with him as devilish as the person himself. We have given up the presumption of innocence. You know, I wrote a book called Guilt by Accusation. That's what we're going through. And I understand why people don't want to see things released which will mention their names, and then the media will immediately say guilty, 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 without even giving them an opportunity to fight back. I fought back because I had nothing to hide. Many people do have things to hide, and they can't fight back. And that's why it's easy to make false accusations against people. I don't know whether it's false or true against Prince Andrew, but he couldn't fight back because he was Randy Andy. He couldn't sit for a deposition and answer questions about his sex life. I could. It was easy for me because I had no sex life other than with my wife from the relevant period of time. So I can answer all my questions, but put yourself in the position of falsely accused people and understand why there's some hesitation in releasing the files. When I was accused, the first thing I said is release everything. I waive all my rights. I urge the FBI to criminally investigate me and prosecute me if they found anything. Of course, they didn't. But not everybody can say that. And so we have to go back to the presumption of innocence and reject this notion of guilt by accusation. That helps to explain why innocent people don't want the files released.
I understand, but it doesn't explain three things. First, it doesn't explain why Trump doesn't want to release things. I'm not saying he's not innocent. I'm saying if he is innocent, which he keeps saying, if he thinks it's about Clinton or Larry Summers or anybody else, he should be saying the same thing. Release the files. And he isn't. And the only excuse I'm offered is, well, he's worried about people getting smeared. I find that hard to believe, Alan. I don't think he's Alan Dershowitz. I don't understand why he won't release the files. Do you?
No, I don't accept that he's concerned, maybe, that although he didn't do anything wrong, and by the way, Brad Edwards, the very aggressive lawyer for the victims, said, I've investigated everything, and Trump did nothing wrong. And in fact, nobody prominent is accused. Only people you already know about. So there's really nothing in the files. Now, I've read many of the files. I've read the files in my case. We had days and days of depositions. They're all sealed, not by the Justice Department, but by judges who want to protect the alleged accusers, and I've seen the names of the accusers and the accused. Give you an example. There's a woman named Sarah Ransom who accused Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Richard Branson, said she had videotapes of them all having sex with young boys and girls. All right, that's the accusation that's out there. But the files prove that she made up the whole story, and she ultimately admitted that she made it all up in order to have something over Donald Trump. So what you can't do is release the accusations without releasing material that also may challenge the credibility.
So release all of it. So release all of it. Let the media do its job. Look, my problem here, there's nothing to do with the law, is this has been such a hype vehicle. First for the right. Let's not forget. Democrats didn't start this fire. They've just been blowing on it and turbocharging it and adding more wood. The right started this, especially on the podcast. J.D. Vance, Kash Patel, Bongino, it's Clinton, it's this, it's that. That's why MAGA wanted this. This is why Trump allowed it. Hoisted on his own petard? Maybe, but I don't get why he's not saying release it. One other thing, Professor, I want to make sure. I do not want you to get the Megyn Kelly scarlet letter, which I don't even think she believes, as unfair as she's been to me. I don't think she's in any way forgiving of pedophiles. When you say Epstein pleaded guilty to just one thing, he's being falsely accused, this guy was a scumbag, and we both know it. This guy was into kiddie porn, young women. He was a dog, and we both know it.
No question about that, but let your people on this station get it right. Don't call him a convicted pedophile. First of all, he's not a pedophile. Pedophiles are people who go after prepubescent women. He's very bad. He went after a 17-and-a-half-year-old and paid her to have sex. That's very bad. But it's not being a convicted pedophile. And the other thing is you get other people who may be completely innocent, and the names, they were on his plane. Of course they were on his plane. All the lawyers were on his plane. People who went and did charitable things were on his plane. But the idea, if he's on the plane or if he went to the island.
No, that I'm with you. But just because he only pled guilty to one thing, this guy had tons of young girls. I don't know how young, but the 10,000 videos, 14 years of age, this guy's an ephebophile, even if he's not a pedophile, and that puts him in the scumbag category.
Use the word convicted. He was charged
Right.
with.
But that's you as a lawyer. That's you as a lawyer. In the court of public opinion, Alan, I'm with you. I'm with you. Legally, if I'm in your class, I fail if I say convicted pedophile. I get it. But in reality, in the moral court, this guy is a scumbag and went after young girls gratuitously.
No doubt. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
And he ought to be condemned. And anybody who did that should be condemned. But just because somebody knew him before he was ever charged.
I agree. I agree.
Good people. But there were people who also.
I agree.
After he was charged.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But we're at a point now, Alan, not everybody is you, not in terms of your standards and not in terms of your ability to absent yourself from allegations. Yeah. However, it's been so hyped by the right, so hyped by the left. Trust is so low, they have to release the files, and hopefully, and I'll be responsible when they do. But I got to jump, and I have to thank you for joining me on Shabbos.
Don't tell my rabbi, and then we'll be okay. And how much do
it's
I
lucky for you, nobody's watching.
How much do I have to contribute to
Listen, if you give me $100,000, I'll shave it tomorrow.
All right, I'll think about that. I'll think about that.
All right, Professor, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thanks, as always.
And the professor has a lot of books. His latest is entitled The Preventative State. And once again, a very pithy look at where we are and why. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.